Hey guys, Luke here, and welcome back to the Fan Hub. We're going over the 2015 NRL transfers. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Michael Ennis, as you can tell by the title. So let's get into it. This is going to be my thoughts and opinion, just pretty much of Ennis moving from the Bulldogs to the Sharks. And also, I'm a Bulldog supporter, so I'm not going to hide that or anything. Obviously, it's pretty easy to tell. And yeah, I'm just going to be talking about my perspective. And it should be easier for me to talk about this, considering I've watched Ennis for many years, and actually this player model is pretty bad. Yeah, I think this actually isn't a good player model. I think his previous ones have been a lot better, but we'll leave it at that. So overall, what do I think of Ennis moving? I actually think it's a very good move for the Sharks. Whether it been the Sharks or the Raiders, whoever ended up getting him was getting a really good player. The money he's on, I'd say, it's a bit questionable, but at the same time, you had to beat that, because if it was going to go for cheap, then Bulldogs would have ended up just keeping him. And there was a few teams after him. I think probably even Knights or someone might have even went after him. I know previously they had. But in terms of ability for Ennis, he still has it. He's still a great player. Definitely missed him in the grand final. As good as Mbai was, Ennis, if we had Ennis, we would have won, I think. But I'll leave it at that for the grand final part. Let's forget about that. Didn't even happen. But Ennis, in terms of attack, he's pretty garbage in attack at this stage. Makes some pretty shitty decisions sometimes. Occasionally he'll pull off the great pass, or the little grubber or something that he'll work 1 out of 10 times. But for the most part, he's just a little bit of a passer. But in terms of leadership and defense, he's 10 out of 10. He's superb in that aspect. The only thing I have to say is sometimes he obviously won't be captain at the Sharks. They got Gallen, but I'm sure he'll be some sort of a leader there. And talking to the rest and stuff, not his strong point, but does come up with the good one-liner every now and again, which is it's a good thing to see. Channel 9 has their fun with it. But yeah, I think Ennis, what Ennis doesn't have in attack, he brings in leadership, which is really good. And, we saw in the grand final at times Bulldogs look very lost without him. And, James Graham is a great leader. Hoggerson, pretty good leader as well. Bulldogs had other senior members in the squad, but they just lacked the leadership with Mbai there. And you could argue that put an actual hooker in there and it might be a bit different, but didn't have the luxury of doing that. He was the next best option. But yeah, I think Ennis, he brings something that the Sharks have been missing. They have a pretty young side. They have a young side as well as a lot of oldies. But apart from Gallen, they got Luke Lewis and stuff, but they've been missing that real quality hooker, and I think they've finally got that, as well as they got someone like Barber as well, which I've already done. If you want to go and watch that video, go do that. But I think Ennis and Barber might be a good combination. I don't really know, but this stage, Ennis, I think he's a big improvement on John Morris and the likes of them. I think he's just a 10 times better player than that. You remember, Ennis is a New South Wales. He was a New South Wales hooker, and it wasn't that long ago. So definitely a quality player, and I'm going to miss him at the Bulldogs, but he's going to be at the Sharks, and I think he'll do a great job at the Sharks, to be totally honest. Hopefully not too good. Hopefully Bulldogs still beat them, but yeah, he brings a lot to the side, in my opinion. Just the defense, great in that aspect, and leadership, which is what they need. And in terms of he's a pretty good hooker overall. I say he's garbage in attack, but he still can. He still calls up the good plays and that sort of stuff. He's the one who starts it, I suppose. So he's good in that aspect, and I think like I said many times, I think he's a good signing, and yeah, I think overall he is a great signing. Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't let any Sharks fans down, and yeah, that's where I'll leave the video. Talked enough about Ennis. I've said many times, I think he's a great player, great signing, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you can leave a like. Hopefully you can subscribe to my channel, and also leave in the comments what are your thoughts on Michael Ennis to the Sharks, and also just any other players that you would like to leave suggestions on who I should do, that sort of stuff. I'll get back to you and all that, and yeah, I'll see you for the next video, guys. Bye.